Hello, everyone. It's amazing to be here at Ethereum Taipei. My name is Mel Gelderman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of this company called Monolith. And we're based in London. And today I'm going to tell you a bit about what we're about, a bit about the future, a bit about transcendence, and hopefully what our lives will be like very, very soon. And so, interestingly, this story might actually start a lot closer than you may expect. So, about 4 years ago, I lived in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, this was at Din Tai Fung. This was basically the size of the Ethereum community back in like 2015. And I had the amazing opportunity to meet Vitalik Buterin. There are some other amazing people here that you may recognize. This is Alex Liu, Jacob Lee, some people from Microsoft Taiwan, from the university, some of my friends Leo and Shannon, and I think this was a journalist lady. I'm not quite sure who this was, but she was there. And the reason we were all there was because I think deep down we all realized that we were standing at the start of this transcendental moment in human evolution, right? Like, the tool that Vitalik created was quite literally, you know, it probably is the most powerful tool of our lifetimes, right? With Ethereum, for the first time, in 2014 and 2015, people started to realize that we could build an entirely new type of society, one that isn't controlled by, the banks or the government or by currency, but one that is controlled by people. And this is what my company is about. Monolith is about trying to materialize Ethereum's transcendental potential. And we want to do that in a very real way, right? So, it always frustrates me that, well, actually, let me ask the audience. So who here believes that the future of our society will, to some degree or other, be powered by Ethereum or any competitor or whatever, right? Like, I definitely do, right? Like, this is the architecture for our future worlds. The reality is that even though most people here believe it, very few of the people here will actually be trying to live this, right? Like, no one, we all think the future of our society is Ethereum, but no one's actually doing anything in their day-to-day life to make this real, to actually try and live this, right? There's probably less than 1,000 people in the world who actually, try to say goodbye to the old world economy and are trying to live in the real world, in the Ethereum world today, right? And so this is what fundamentally our company, what Monolith is trying to do. It's trying to make a way for people to actually abandon the old world, right? To say bye-bye to Fubon Bank, right? To say, goodbye to Bank of America, HSBC, Revolut, whatever you have, right? And to instead live a life that is powered by the Ethereum economy. And so, let me look at my slides here, they're over there as well. So, yes, we want to replace your bank. We want to present the Ethereum economy, this magic that, all these companies that are building on Ethereum, a lot of them are here, are making, right? Companies such as Digix, such as Maker. We're all building this Ethereum economy, and we want to make the Ethereum economy usable to normal people, to everyone, right? We want to replace your bank. We want it to be non-custodial. We don't want your money, right? You can keep your money. And we think that leads to all kinds of bad situations down the line, as the world is today. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. And ultimately, and this is, now I'm going a bit crazy, we want people to step through the portal. We want people to become Ethereans, right? Because very few people are today. And so this is a profile of our platform. Now, we've had to look at how people actually live their normal lives, right? Most people, fundamentally, we have to build a platform that allows an average citizen of Taiwan, an average citizen of the UK or wherever, to slot in this Ethereum-powered version, right, into their daily lives, right? It shouldn't be different. You shouldn't have to abandon, you don't have to live in a cave, right, to live with Ethereum, right? Like I tried this years ago, 5, 6 years ago. I quit university, and I only lived with a Bitcoin wallet, right? I canceled my bank accounts. I traveled the world with a Bitcoin wallet, and this was basically impossible. Like obviously it didn't work, but I fundamentally believed that the thing that Bitcoin originally started was going to, like I took it to heart. I really believed it would be the foundation for a new economy and all this stuff. And so here we are today, where I've put all my time and energy into trying to build a product that does fit into people's daily lives. And so for that, the original like MVP of this life is this is what we've built today, is that we have a safer wallet, right? Fundamentally, so it's a mobile wallet on iOS and Android. It's available right now. It's a safer wallet because we don't necessarily believe in addresses. Instead, people generate their own key, and they then deploy their own contract wallets onto the Ethereum network. And the reason for this is because where ultimately this industry is going is that down the line, you'll have everything of value, right? Everything that's valuable in your life will be with you in your pocket, right? It'll be everything from like from your Ether to all your other tokens to your Netflix subscriptions to even your identity at some point to like your house, right? Your stocks, whatever, right? All of that will be with you. And with the current generation of wallets, right, key-based wallets, if you make a single mistake, you will lose all of it, right? They're very, very unforgiving. And so that's why we decided to create a contract wallet. So each of our users deploy their own contract wallet. I'll be able to demo it a bit down the line. And then, and this is the most part, the most work we've had to do in the last 2 years. We've had to ultimately find a way to allow people to use this stuff day to day, right? So in Europe and in America and in most of Asia, the way you interact with the world around you on a financial level is through a debit card, right? Through a Visa card or a MasterCard or whatever. And so we've basically had to build the most purest non-custodial implementation of a Visa an Ethereum network to a Visa network experience, right? And that's what we've done. And for that, in the process, we've essentially had to build everything that a challenger bank, which is a very European term, has had to build. This is like, maybe you've heard of Revolut or of Monzo, or in America you have like Venmo and Cash App. I guess the closest thing here is like WeChat, but that's mainland Chinese. But let me move on. So some of the stuff we've had to do to get here is we've had to work with the FCA, which is the local regulator in the UK. They were actually really impressed with what we've done because they say that like a decentralized, a non-custodial implementation of a bank, right, is better for consumer protection because if we go offline tomorrow, all of our users still have their money. We don't hold the user's money. And this is in contrast with a traditional bank. This is in contrast with most companies in the blockchain space today. So their worry is that, let's say Coinbase one day goes offline, right, and they're unregulated right now. So, but they maintain everyone's balances. But who knows? Maybe they only have a fraction of the amount of Bitcoin and Ether and whatever that they should have, right? And so, yeah, we've gone through the FCA sandbox. Some other things here I'm going to just highlight is we've had to build an AML system and a KYC system. So KYC is know your customer. So when you sign up through the app for the card, specifically for the Visa card, you take a selfie, you take a picture of your photo ID, and you put in your address. And then if we check, if we can verify that, 3 days later, hopefully, you'll receive your card in the mail. It takes a week sometimes. And the other thing we've had to build to basically to show Visa that this was the reason they trusted us, we've had to show to Visa that we can do anti-money laundering, AML, on the blockchain, right? And so we've worked with other amazing companies, one in particular called CoinFirm. And through CoinFirm, we basically check, like when a user deposits, sends funds into their contract wallet, into their own control, we can't take that money, right? It's theirs. But what we can do is we can look at its provenance, right? We can look where it came from. And so every time a significant amount of money gets sent into their contract wallet, we check, did this come from like, some hacked exchange or some Ponzi scheme or anything dodgy, right? Anything bad. And if that happens, we have to, this is the agreement we have with Visa, where we basically don't accept that specific money, right? We ultimately can like turn off their card. And so we've only had to do this for like 2 users to date. So that's, don't worry, you won't. No, virtually no one gets caught, and this is like super obvious. So then let's see. Yeah, a lot of other stuff. You can ask me about this after the presentation if you're interested. Now, what's right around the corner, right? We're like at the MVP stage of being able to live a life on Ethereum, right? Where like, if you already have a lot of Ether, you can live this stuff because you've got a Visa debit card, you can use it in real life every day or any token, and you've got a wallet that's in your own control, but this is not quite enough. And so what we're like working on right now, which is going to kind of complete this basic picture, is that you can send money in, that you can literally pay in your salary, right? That when you get paid from your whatever company you work for, that money hits basically like a system, and then the moment we get it, we convert it to whatever token you want. So you'll be able to configure, do you want DAI, or do you want like 50% Ether, 25% Digix tokens, whatever. This will like complete one big part of the flow. And the other is we want to integrate the basic necessities of like decentralized finance, right? Such as all the swaps. So we're using, we love Kyber and we love Uniswap and all these others, but specifically we're actually integrating aggregators because it's a lot easier. So for that we're using Total and we're using 1inch, which are really cool. And ultimately, we have to try and do this for every jurisdiction in the world, right? Like right now, it's only in Europe, the card specifically. And money in will also only be in Europe. But we have to do this for the US, we have to do this for all of Asia, right? For Taiwan. And so that's still in progress. Now, the ultimate goal here is indeed to build a trustless banking alternative. And the question, and this is real, right? Again, this is not something that we're proposing now, that we're starting to build. For the last 2.5, 3 years, I've committed all my, we're a team of 25 people today, but like all my time has been committed to actually building this. So we're on iOS and on Android, and we have right now, we have 1,000 users. So 1,000 people in the world, just over 1,000, this is like 3 weeks ago. I haven't been back to Europe, so I don't know the latest numbers. But about 1,000 people have our card. And the amazing thing about that is that a very high percentage of them use our card every day, right? So this is statistically significant because compared to other companies that have a card, that are just traditional fintech companies, we actually are seeing a much higher use percentage, basically showing that people like genuinely understand and love our products. And this is great, and I love the people who have our products. But there's a problem, right? Like there's only 1,000 of them. And look, we don't have a marketing team. We're like 80% engineers and all this stuff. But I'm definitely a bit disappointed in only having 1,000 people. And I think, rather than like pointing the finger at the world, we need to, as an industry, we need to basically take a step back, and we need to think what really is the value for people here. And I think that, fundamentally, something running on Ethereum, something being non-custodial and like futuristic and cool, isn't quite enough, right? It's not. For people in this room, it may be enough, but for normal people, who are not interested in the nature of the technology itself, it's not enough. And so people need a good reason to care, and I think, like most amazingly, we literally are at this turning point in the history of our industry. Like, we're living through the most amazing time in Ethereum's history, maybe even the history of the, blockchain 10 years now. Because for the first time in 10 years, we're at this point where our industry will become interesting to people beyond just speculation, beyond just gambling, right? And this is through decentralized finance platforms such as Compound, such as Fulcrum and DYDX and a whole bunch of others which I haven't looked enough into. But fundamentally, these platforms they're money markets, and they're decentralized and they're automated, and they're providing people with interest. And this is critical, right? If we take a step back, if we look at what are the moments in the history of our industry that people have become interested in this, it's been in 2013 when the price of Bitcoin went up. Again, in 2017 when everything went up and there were 1,000 ICOs. And the only reason people got involved wasn't because of the technology, it's because they thought they would make money. And if we can satisfy that desire of people without it being, as dark and as dodgy as pure speculation, without it being gambling, and instead being it through, platforms such as Compound, etc., through Maker, right, with their new things. I forget the acronym, but it's they're going to give interest on DAI directly as well. We for the first time will be able to actually provide a service to normal people who don't care if it's blockchain or not, that actually will basically, be significantly better than what they can get in the old world. And this is a turning point, right? Again, in 2017, it was absurd because at the beginning of the year, no one cared about Ethereum. No one knew what an ICO was or whatever, what a token was. By the end of it, you would sit in a bar and the people next to you were talking about, their favorite token, right? Triple. I literally heard someone say triple at some point. But, which is obviously Ripple, but mispronunciation. So I think this is critical. We've been working towards this for the last, virtually the last 3 years, towards this moment in time where the Ethereum economy will be useful enough for normal people. And we're here to present it to these people in a way that they can fit right into their lives. And now that we have amazing dApps, such as Compound and all the others, we think we're ready. And so we think, very soon, within the next 6 months, we'll be able to offer people, hundreds of thousands of people, an experience powered by Ethereum that they can't get anywhere else. And this is it's the death of fintech, it's the death of traditional banking, and it's going to happen a lot quicker than I think a lot of people expect. So, let me do a demo. Now, bear with me here. I just found out yesterday that the new iPad OS software actually supports HDMI out, so I didn't have to buy a MacBook and then return it today. So, this is our app. I have the most easy password in the world. Try and forget this. So, it's fundamentally, it looks like most other Ethereum wallets that you'll have used. And I just want to make a point specifically. I think our industry kind of gets caught up in the idea that it's the UI or the UX that needs to change to make this real for people. I don't think it is, right? People use much worse experiences in traditional finance. People use much worse experiences in, even in fintech, right? Our wallets are kind of good enough, right? They can definitely improve. There's no question they can improve a lot. Ours can improve a lot. But it's what people really need is, a reason to use this stuff, a reason to care. So let me just walk through this. All of these tokens here, again, they're not on a key. They're in your own contract wallet. So when you sign up, Monolith actually deploys a contract wallet onto the Ethereum network for you. We pay for that. But when we deploy it, we put your key, the one you just generated when you signed up, as the owner. And so that literally means that you're the only one that can interact with your contract wallets. And when you do so, you can actually set, it has these two functions, the whitelist address and the daily send limits, which together are significantly safer than just a key, right? Because you can set how much money leaves your wallet per day. So this is 5 ETH remaining for me per day. If I have 100 ETH, right? No one could steal more. Like, I could literally give you my key right now, and you couldn't steal more than 5 ETH per day, right? The moment you do that, I'm going to withdraw to my whitelisted address, right? This is hard-coded in, very V1, right? You can't change this after you do it. I'm going to be able to withdraw to like a backup I have, this Koinomi wallet backup. Anyway, when you decide that you actually want to use any of your tokens in the real world, this is in your own custodial control, you can go to the card screen, right? And this is linked to my card over here, which again is a Visa debit card, which works everywhere in the world virtually. And you're literally, it's the most purest implementation of this, of how we could do this, where you're physically sending an Ethereum transaction from your own wallet, right? From here, you're physically sending it to the card, which is done by this top-up button. So I'm actually going to do this now. So let's choose, I've literally been spending all my tokens, so I only have a lot of ETH left. So let's do 3 ETH. So now I'm physically sending Ethereum from my own contract wallets. It selects fast, see, gas. There we go. So I've now sent it from my own control to a backend service. The moment it hits it after 1 block, or 3, depending on the amount, hopefully it's 1, but this is a lot of money. So the moment it hits the backend, within about like 15 to 20 seconds, it will update your card balance with that amount of money in pounds, in my case, because I have the pound card. So we can actually look at this transaction on Ethereum and watch it confirm. There we go. That was very quick. Thank you, Vitalik. OK, there we go. So this should now reflect. It should turn, well, hang on. It should turn blue any moment now, any moment. Live demos, there we go. And then I can go back to the card screen, and it should, and again, this is the Visa part of the system, which takes longer, right? Like, they're so slow. Oh my God. So this can take another like 15 seconds to update, but it will update. And in the meantime, I can actually show you some of my card transactions. There's probably something very embarrassing here. There we go. Look, it did actually update. So this now should be here, £415. So I've now gone from having complete full custodial control of my own tokens to having it on a card usable in the real world, right here, at Family Mart or 7-Eleven or wherever, in about 30 seconds, right? And this is the most pure DeFi implementation you could imagine on Ethereum today. So yeah, I'll show you a few of my transactions. This was, so last week we were in Osaka for DevCon, which is amazing. And yeah, the list goes on and on. There's more functionality. So if you click on the card, you can see your PIN, which I guess I could show the whole world all my numbers, but let's, just imagine my PIN is behind that. I could freeze the card if I want. I can replace it. I can see the limits. Everything. And I just want to say, this is, however, the start of the experience, right? Like, this isn't where Ethereum, ends, right? The future of wallets is going to be a lot closer to, playing like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, where you have all your assets in your own control and all the stuff, rather than like this bit of a fintechy type experience. But this is all very futuristic. So let me quickly go back. That's the demo done. Am I gonna have time for questions? A few questions? Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Oh, come on. Oh, sorry.
Do you have a question?
There we go. Sorry. Am I back? No. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So this is back in the old world. This is with one of our program managers in the our program manager in the UK, which is Qantas, which is an e-money licensed company. The idea fundamentally is that you can have, £100,000 getting, 7% interest on like compound in your own control, and then whenever you want, you can send like, £100 or £500 to the card, right? Like there is no way to have all the benefits of this old world, right? Of this expansive Visa network, which probably is the biggest, the best thing about the traditional finance world, to leverage this in like, there are more UX-y, better experience ways, but like right now the best, purest way is what we've tried to do.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions?
Let's see.
Do you want to share something?
Yeah, there was just a few more things. So
okay.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Rune, the founder of MakerDAO, because last week at DevCon, in his presentation, he actually went on stage and he pulled out a token, a monolith card, our card. And this was like, there's no reason I'm putting this in the slide other than to just say this is probably one of the best moments of my life so far. So yeah, that was really cool. Thank you, Rune, if you see this. Yeah, and he specifically said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something to the extent of, this is making it real, right? Like this is making the Ethereum economy real, and that is what we're trying to do. So that was really cool. And then yeah, thank you all. Follow us on Twitter, or me specifically, if you want to hear crazy tweets. And again, I just want to thank Ethereum Taipei, Finny specifically. Thank you for hosting me here. You guys are amazing. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Vitalik, for creating the best tool of our age. So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much. It's such an amazing presentation. And do we have any questions from the audience?
Hi, I'm just wondering, will it be able to use in Taiwan?
Yeah, good question.
That's a very good question. When can we use it?
When can we use it? This is like, yeah, this is the worst part. This is like the one question I hope I didn't get, because we don't know yet. The problem is building an Ethereum wallet that works over the whole world is easy, right? You just create, this wallet and it works everywhere. Doing the same with like the traditional part of the world just takes a lot of time. So we've only been able to do it now for all of Europe, except Switzerland. We're doing it for America, for the US. And right now, the first one in Asia that we're looking at is actually Korea. And then I promise you, Taiwan will be right after Korea. So yeah, I do want to bring it here as soon as possible. Yeah, and to be clear, the wallet is useful beyond just the card, right? Like we're integrating dApps natively, we're integrating swaps natively. We are still trying to be the best, like pure DeFi wallet, but we're just adding in all this like traditional finance as well to make it usable. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. We will be waiting for you.
Yeah.
That's a promise.
All right, next time I come here.
Okay. Do we have one more question in the back?
Thank you. I would like to ask, what's your opinion on the anonymity on blockchain, and how does KYC AML work in your case, where the data is stored? And if I get a card, does it mean that I just lose the anonymity because there is a way to associate the address of a wallet with my real world ID?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So fundamentally, the agreement we have with Visa, with the FCA, is that we have to do KYC and we have to do AML on people, know your customer and anti-money laundering. And so that means that as a company, we indeed do, know who you are as a user. We do like analyze where your money has come from, right? In 99.9% of cases, everything's totally fine, but like some users are definitely trying to abuse our system. And this is the agreement that we do our best to prevent this. Now, if the question, so you have to trust us as a company, right? But hopefully, we can be pretty clear that if there's one company you have to trust in this new economic paradigm, it should be us, right? Ultimately, where we're going is we think we're going to be the first decentralized wallet on Ethereum that actually does like KYC for users, and so we'll be the first wallet. And I hope no other wallet implements this. Like now that I'm going to say it, but we'll be the first one to very soon. I'm not going to give a timeline, but issue all of our users KYC tokens, right? That we like kind of give back like your own identity in a way, and that you can potentially use it for other services. And your first question about privacy, from the outside, we are very much concerned about that. So indeed, if if your friends know your address, they'll see how much you get paid. Ultimately, they'll see what transactions, what tokens you hold, what transactions you're doing, and so our CTO, Misha Tuffield, is looking at Aztec Protocol, which is another company based in London. I'm the wrong person to talk about this specifically, but yeah, we're trying to, ultimately what we'd like is to have some sort of black box, right, where the user's contract wallet is some sort of black box where we can see, we can interact with you and see your transactions, but no one else outside can, right? And yeah, this is too much math for me to explain because I'm not the mathematician. Yes? Do we need a microphone? Because it's for the recording. Sorry.
So when you say you need to check where the tokens come from, would you have to block someone who's used a mixer before?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Argent's kind of screwing everyone over. So right now, money coming in from mixers, actually through like CoinFirm, the service we're using, they think it's fine. It's what they're classifying as bad is services that have been hacked, that are like explicitly like darknet markets, addresses that are known, that have been used in like frauds and all this stuff. Mixes are okay, but yeah, I don't know where this is going to lead, right? Like right now we're happy with it, but ultimately if the regulator says like mixes are bad, yeah, we'll have to like comply with that. Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, great. That's all we have time for.
All right, that's a shame.
Fortunately, but if you have any more questions, please feel free to talk to the speaker after.
You can just come to me. I'm nice, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation.